Hello everyone, it's Storm the Hedgewolf. I normally don't come to terms with reactions, or bad ones in fact. Like, I normally don't do these kind of videos. I just react. I try to enjoy an episode. But this all changed with one particular Dragon Ball episode, and it was Gogeta versus Vegito. Now, I'm gonna try to come clean. I'm gonna try to come to terms with this as best I can, even though I'm not a big fan of this particular matchup. I'm gonna start by saying I apologize if I sounded like an ass. I had no intention in sounding like an ass during that react. I had no intention to feel like I was an ass. I was trying to get through it as best I could. But the episode was so badly affecting me in terms of hating it. It affected the reaction. Not just the prediction, it also affected the reaction as well. I'm still going to keep these. Now, if you're going to probably wonder, will the reaction still be on the channel? Yes, it will still be on the channel. But this is going to be one of those things. I'm going to even bring this window over here so you can actually see better head movement. So, for starters, I am sorry. I'm sorry for if me sounding like an ass. I didn't want to sound like an ass. I'm supposed to be impartial. I'm supposed to give opinions willingly. I'm allowed to shit all over the episode if I want, but I went too far. I made it sound like I was complaining to the world. I made it sound awful. But I'm gonna make it up to you all. I know you guys were expecting me to like the episode. So I'm gonna start with talking about how decent the episode was to some, but to others, it was perfect. But to me, this isn't a perfect finale. In fact, it's not really a good finale either. And I know this matchup has its fans, but it was never my preferred matchup for a finale. I would have preferred this for like a season starter or even a season middle episode. But because of that, we didn't get that. We ended up with this. And it affected me so bad, I complained throughout the episode, and there was no call for me to do that. Hell, one might say Bakugan might agree, but right now he's not online. He's the one who usually does the reacts with me. But I am going to explain to him about this. I'm only doing this to get it off out of the way. I want to get it off the chest. I want to come clean with the aftermath of this. So I'm going to review this episode with my opinions in mind. You can hate me all you want. You can hate the react all you want. But that doesn't excuse you guys to give me petty threats. Which is why I removed those comments. And honestly, this is taking a lot out of me. Like, this episode in particular was frustrating to me. It was frustrating to me, it was frustrating to Bakugan, but I had no excuse to be an ass, and I am sorry for it. For starters, let's talk about the research. I'm going to talk about the research, how the research was presented. Maybe I might change the rating. Maybe. I don't know. Will it be better than Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna? Probably not. it might just be the same road. But the research, they dug deep into both the characters. They even said how the fusions worked. They literally explained how it worked. Like, Gogeta only lasts 30 minutes, Vegito lasts only 1 hour. And of course, these two can push each other out of their fusions a lot quicker. So, while I wasn't really a big fan of the research, it was okay. It was okay. Now, the fight was a different story. I was going into this, like, thinking, oh, they're gonna actually make it, like, an hour versus 30 minutes type of scenario. Which they didn't really do. And now, sure, not every battle is like an hour long. It's like maybe 10, 20 minutes, maybe 30. Maybe, no, let me rephrase that. Maybe 3 to 5, or maybe 10 minutes at best. Like with some battles, like Tanjiro versus Jonathan, it had storytelling. This one didn't. But that's besides the point. The main reason why I didn't like this fight was because it just felt boring. It felt, to me, this is how I felt with it. And I'm being dead honest. It felt anticlimactic. Like, they go through the key attacks, they go through the kicks and the punches. And what's worse is that they didn't even bother having one of the fusions separate before Vegito could do the finishing blow on him. Or Gogeta doing the finishing blow. But the kill was so anticlimactic, it was really bad. And them going into explaining why Vegito wins was not even good either. The fight was meh, and the results were... The reasoning behind the results were not that great. So, big shout out to a person... What was this? I believe it was Charles 199. I'm guessing that's how I pronounced their name. They literally told me to make this video because it's too late to change how I did the react. But that doesn't mean I can't come out here and say I'm sorry. Now, I know this battle has its fans, but I'm not one of its fans. I would have rather much preferred either Gogeta fighting someone else or Vegito fighting someone else, not the two fighting each other. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate same series fights. Like, hell, look at Goomba vs. Koopa Round 2 on the DBX. Look at the Turtles Battle Royale, or even the actual Goomba vs. Koopa, or even the Pokemon Starter Royale. That right... Hell, even the 7 Battle Royale. I don't mind same series episodes as long as they're good. But to me, this just didn't feel right. And it's a shame too, because I like Daito Madachi's work on Kakyoin, Waifu Connoisseur, and the Gohan verse. But the main reason behind why I don't like it is just I'm not really a big fan of this matchup. So, if I were to give this a rating, this is an educational aided guess of a rating, because I'm doing the rate the Death Battle episode tomorrow. I hope this rating carries over, and I will explain to the person I reacted to this episode with on why I'm having a little bit of a change of heart. It's mainly because I'm realizing that, yes, I was a bit of an ass, and yes, I was just not enjoying this episode. Like, it's quite shocking, really. Like, when it affected me so bad, I knew I went too far. Like, I even tried explaining in the community post that literally, it, literally that I'm just not a big fan of it. Like, I can even go to the community post right now and still read it. It's still up on my channel if you ever want to read it. Like, if you ever want to read it, it's still up on my channel. But I will try to summarize what I put. Like, I know a lot of people have been criticizing me for my hatred towards this episode, but don't bring threats to this. Like, that's what really stressed me out as well. And yes, I know. The episode to me was a train wreck. It's a disappointing finale, and the research was okay, the fight was lackluster, the reason behind Vegito's victory was dumb, and it is a terrible finale. I'm gonna even be honest, I was even gonna put this lower than Scarlet Witch vs. Satana. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. I was gonna put Scarlet Witch vs. Satana lower. Mainly because it was just too obvious and too boring. But, no. This episode right here is the worst for me, mainly because it just frustrated me. Like, Gogeta vs. Vegito actually frustrated me. Like, when I go into these versus episodes, I actually want to enjoy the fight. I want to actually try to look into the research the best I can. It's just... this fight frustrated me so bad. Like, it affected the reaction and the prediction pretty bad. Well, not as much the prediction, but it was just the prediction. And basically, I know I said I wasn't going to come at this thing, but I'm doing this just to get this out of the way. And you're probably wondering, what is this rating? I want to probably put it like either a 4 or a 5. That's as high as I can go. But as low as I can go, I'll probably just put it at a 3. It frustrated me so bad, I just can't. I just was so fucking frustrated with this particular episode. It was that bad. I feel like I want to cry right now, but I don't need to. It just was that frustrating. When an episode frustrates me that bad, you know I can't talk about it legit. But honestly, I still think they could have done a better job with the finale. Like, they could have at least made it last a little bit longer than just 3 minutes and ending it with Gogeta turning into a statue or whatever. But I honestly think they could have at least made one of the fusions run out before Gogeta turned to stone. Like, they could have had Gogeta moments of separating from the fusion. He could have turned to stone right there and then, halfway. That's the only thing I can think. But honestly, yeah, this was one of the worst episodes for me to watch. This was one of the most frustrating and disappointing ones I've ever had to watch. But that's how I'm doing things. And I figured I'd do it now while I'm not live. You can tell that there's no ticker going on. There's no people commenting. That's enough. Normally I try to do streams, but it's a pain to do. So my final thoughts on Gogeta vs. Vegito. It's a meh episode. It's a meh episode for me. I know you people are going to probably complain about this from me, but I'm trying my hardest to be honest here, and that's how I feel with this episode. It just doesn't click with me like the other finales did. Sure, Deadpool vs. Pinkie Pie was a thing, but that's besides the point. The finale is supposed to excite me. It's supposed to make me entertained. In fact, it's supposed to make the viewer entertained. I don't know if you guys felt the same way with this one, but it's a real damn shame too, because these two characters are actually really good. It's just, we ended up getting something that was lackluster, and felt like it was on a time crunch. And this episode was so frustrating for me. I'm gonna say it again. I know I've said it a lot throughout this thing, but this episode really frustrated me so bad I wanted to punch Goku in the face. And the poor soul of an anime got the slaughter today with Gogeta versus Vegito. And I'm not happy about that. But like I said before, I'm sorry if I sounded like an ass. I wasn't trying to be an ass. I'm supposed to take my opinions to the point where I don't get frustrated, and I went too far. I just hope you all can forgive me for that. And, yeah, if you still want to see the react, you can. I'll still leave the react on the channel. At this point, I really don't care if it gets dislikes. All I ask is you don't send me petty threats. That's all I'm asking. Because that's not good. Like, you don't send someone threats. That's like sending a known reactor. Like, I'm not known. I'm a channel that's with barely any life in it, because mainly people don't notice me that much. Neither on Twitch. No one watches me on either Twitch or YouTube. And that's another reason why I'm trying my hardest to branch out into different things besides Death Battle. And yes, I'm in every right to shit all over this episode, but that didn't excuse me for being an ass. And I am so sorry for it. But, like I said before, this episode was one of the most frustrating things I've ever had to endure. I am sorry. I know this battle has its fans, but I'm not one of them. And I hope you all understand that. I just don't like Gogeta versus Vegito as a matchup. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel pleasant. It makes me frustrated. It really frustrates me. But yeah, that wraps up this quick little review. I know it's not detailed. I'm not good at reviewing actual episodes. Like, I've never done a review before, so cut me some slack. So, like I said, my final thoughts on this: the research was okay, the fight was lackluster, and the reasoning behind Vegito's victory was explained rather dumbly. So, in other words, it's a terrible finale. Is it an okay episode on its own? Maybe. Maybe. But it's not an okay finale. And I'm hoping Death Battle doesn't do something like this again. If they're gonna do Gogeta and Vegito again, fine, but make them fight two different characters. It just does... Maybe the next season we'll probably get the sour taste that left behind on this finale. Because, quite frankly, when Saitama vs. Popeye happened, I actually had a fun time with it. Sure, I knew Popeye was going to curb stomp Saitama. That, and I grew up with the reruns of Popeye. It was a phenomenal finale, but Gogeta vs. Vegito doesn't do that for me. It really doesn't. So, in conclusion, I'm sorry for sounding like an ass. I know I've said that a bunch of times throughout this, but I'm not good at making this kind of stuff, and this is one that was unscripted, so if I sound like I don't know what I'm doing, I apologize, but I just never really cared for Gogeta versus Vegito. I never really did. It's one of those ones that frustrated me. Always. And I hope you all understand why I don't like this episode. It may or may not get pleasant trees on the internet. People might like this, people might hate it. But I'm willing to take blame and say, yes, I went too far, and I complained a lot. And I had no reason to do that. So, I hope you all can forgive me for sounding like an ass on the reaction, but if you still want to see the reaction, it'll still be on the channel. I'm not going to remove it. I'm not going to even private it or anything, but because there's no point. I mean, it's too late to change it, so this is the only closest next best thing that I can do. Give you a decent thoughts on this thing, and maybe I might put Gogeta versus Vegito higher than a 1 or 1.5. So, till then, your Captain Hedgewolf signing off. I'll see you in the next video / stream. Please subscribe, like, share with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But, yeah. Till then, Captain Hedgewolf signing off. I'll actually see you in the next video / stream that I do. So, good night, people. One other thing before I, go. While the finale for Season 9 left a bad taste in my mouth, and I had to man up for my mistakes, I will say this. I am actually excited for Cole McGrath versus Alex Mercer and Bill Cipher versus Discord, though I'm more excited for Cole McGrath versus Alex Mercer, mainly because I actually played both those games during high school. And the first time I ever got introduced to Cole McGrath was through Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And ever since then, I ended up falling in love with the series. And then, after that, I discovered Prototype, and I ended up playing that game as well. So, I am actually excited for it. I can't wait to talk about it whenever I get to that prediction. So, I want to thank once again Charles199 for convincing me to make this video. I am sorry that I was a total ass. Like I said a bunch of times, I know you're probably just tired of me saying that, but I had to man up. I had to man up and admit my mistakes. But at least I tried to make this review decent. I'm hoping for a better season finale, and let's hope to everyone who probably felt disappointed with Gogeta versus Vegito for a better season finale next season. And I will see you tomorrow for the rate the season. I'm probably gonna give it a better rating. I'm gonna let Bakugan know what I had to do, because I knew that there was gonna be major backlash against the react, so I did what I had to do, man up, and let people know what my mistakes were. So, till then, your Captain of Hedgefleet signing off. I'll see you in the next stream. So, good day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.